I don't know why. I think I recall woodworkers putting water on wood before they super glue it. You guys should research it first
Sure.
or just do it.
I can just ask and then.
All right, ask. I'll get the next one.
Do woodworkers put a little water? Yes, sometimes, especially on a very dry wood or to speed curing, but it's not the standard or always recommended stuff. It cures through a reaction with moisture from the air with the natural of the content. With bone dry wood, with enough moisture for it to work.
All right.
Work in a low humidity area.
Well, ask what the water does to the super glue.
Says a light mist or dampening of one surface can help trigger faster curing because there's enough natural moisture present. Too much water can cause foaming, whitening, foaming terrible.
Hmm.
Says a light mist and then wipe away that so it's only slightly damp, not wet. So you can wet it and then wipe it off. Wet it, wipe it off, glue it.
All right, so I'll give that touch of water. They said not too much though.
They said put it on and then wipe it off. Here's a towel if you want to wipe off the water. So it's damp, not wet.
I don't know if I got enough for this to make a pass. Give the scales.
Big one.
Yep. Hey, what's up, Raja? How you doing, Raja? Number 27. Twenty-seven was 300 grams. We're doing good. We're starting our glaze process, and we've already mixed our glazes, but now we've got to figure out how we want to glaze them, and that process is a little more complicated. The way I work it out is I'll work up a grid sheet like this, and then I'll lay my pieces out. I think you can see that like this. And so the pieces are laid out how they're going to be on the form. And then what I'll do is I'll decide which glazes are going to fall into the grid, so that every time I glaze, I'll know what glazes go on which pieces. And it's not about really knowing what one glaze will do, but it's seeing how glazes interact with each other. And so yesterday was a little frustrating because I couldn't quite wrap my head around all of it, and I didn't really know which way to go because it's such a complicated process. But we decided the best way to do it would just be to show up and start working and start figuring it out, and then go from there. So right now we've got the glazes picked out for what we want to glaze, and now I'm just getting all the glazes pulled out and mixed down to the right consistency, and so that entails adding water, Epsom salts to flocculate the glaze and to stiffen it up, or I use like a Darwin to deflocculate or to loosen the glaze up. And so between those three things, the key is to not add too much water, because that's the only thing that is the hardest to remove from a glaze. You either have to wait it out, or sometimes I'll add dried plaster to suck the water out. But anyways, yeah, that's what we're working on. What about you? What you got going on? What time is it for you? What is, if it's a 300 gram batch, and I need to add 150 grams of water, I need 10% added, so that would be another 30 grams of water. I think one of the struggles I was having is that this is the first time sharing my process since I've been going live, and for the most part I just sit at my wheel and I make, I just throw work and I make work. but the glazing process, that's the make or break, right? You can have a really beautiful piece of artwork, and if you put a bad glaze on it, you ruin it. And you can have a really bad piece of artwork and put a beautiful glaze on it and makes it look really good. I think they say that the same goes for like clothes, right? You know, you can put on an outfit that either accentuates your form and makes you look better. And, you can you can have a really nice body and put on clothes that make you look frumpy. And so it's kind of the same way with glazing. You can put a good glaze on a bad form and vice versa. And so anyways, this is our first time, doing this. And so I feel like I'm sandbagging because there's the fear of expectation and wanting to do good, being a perfectionist, but accepting that this process, no matter how good you are as a potter, the firing process, there's always that element of you just can't control it and you don't know what you're going to get. And so that's there's always tension there. Leela, I've lost my chat window.
Oh.
It's on the other screen. There it is. Perfection makes things better. Maybe not all things. Perfection is a good thing to aim for, but there's a rule that I heard of that really helped me out, and that is 80 and done, right? 80% and done, because we're human and we're fallible. And so perfection is, it's elusive. You can't always obtain perfection. And if you try for it, it's good. But there's a point in which you have to recognize that you have to move forward. And that's the thing you have to know, is when to say, okay, it's good enough. And so for me, I put my perfection into my artwork. Let me ask you, can you hear me back here? Like I've got my mic on my neck, and so there's an element of like, well, I'm here by the camera. There's an element of like I'm here by the camera, but if I walk back here, can you hear me all the same? No matter what, does the sound work the same? Perfect. Perfect. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Anyways, so perfection is a good thing to aim for. But where what really hurt me is that my perfection is I wanted to carry it into me. And so my artwork, I've been making my artwork for so long, putting my very best into it. But then when it came to social media, I wanted to continue putting my best, doing my best. I didn't want to make mistakes. I wanted the camera to be right. I wanted the lighting to be right. I wanted everything to be perfect. And what that created was stagnation where I didn't end up doing anything because you can't perfect everything. And so it's a thing that you have to say, well, there's things that desire excellence and the pursuit of perfection, but then you have to know what to let go of so that you can just be yourself and not worry about not worry about everything. 41 and 9. Now, I'm sure that your job requires perfection, right? You can't afford a mistake in your work. Yeah, right. Leela, did I tell you Raja does medical writing
No, I didn't know that.
for doctors, does like transcriptions and yeah, you can't mess up there. You gotta get it right. What glaze is this? 9. I just made a 9. Let me find it. Well, that's really weird, Leela. We mixed a number 9 glaze and it can't be this one. Patients are coming like Niagara Falls every day. Work's always tight. You mean they come flooding in?
Like a waterfall. Sounds like.
Yeah, it is. It's really sad how unhealthy the world seems to be going. I think our food industry, especially here in the States, I think our food industry is the perpetrator. For some reason, we have really bad food. We have really amazing tasting food, but the body just does not seem to want to sustain itself on it, and we just get frail and ill. What's up, gal? You do see a lot of cups behind me. What is the biggest health crisis that y'all see in India? We're doing it, gal. We don't know where we're at. We are struggling to try to find a direction. I've mixed up so many new glazes that now I've got this fear of messing up. And because we're supposed to be making glazes and firing the work, but now that I'm doing social media and I'm sharing my process, I'm sitting here second guessing my choices, and I feel like I should be testing my glazes before using them. And so that was our issue yesterday, was trying to wrap our head around that, whether we should not move forward and risk the work, or and in lieu of testing glazes. And now we're deciding to move forward and just trust the process. But I think instead of firing the mugs and the flower bowls, I decided to fire these sipper cups instead. And I'm going to use the sipper cups to test the glazes. And so this is our process here. So I'll print out this form that matches where the cups are going to sit on the shelf. And then I give each one, I write out which glazes are going to go on each one so that I can know what I'm going to get. So right now I'm pulling each glaze I'm using and mixing it down so that when we start glazing, it'll go quicker. Now there's another part of me that wants to fire my gas kiln, which is outside, and it is 60 cubic foot. So it's a pretty big kiln, and but that would require glazing everything I have here in my studio and putting all my eggs into one basket, which I feel like is it's just too much for my nerves. So I'm gonna try playing it a little safe and run at least this one batch of cups, test the glazes that I have, and whatever works, then we'll mix up more of that and move forward. So anyways, we have to take the steps that we know we can make. I heard someone say that we need to challenge ourselves to grow. But the thing is you don't want to make the challenge so hard that you're afraid to tackle it. You're afraid to go after it. You know, like, you want the goal to be difficult, right? Like, if it's too easy, then you just get bored. You know, it's like making goals that are just, they're not a challenge. We need to be challenged. But if you make the goal so difficult that it's too challenging, then you'll struggle to obtain it, and then you can get burned out, right? Trying to make a goal too big. And so you want to make goals for yourself to grow, but you don't want to make them so big that you don't pursue it, or that you get burnout before you achieve it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here is I want to eventually get to fire my gas kiln, and I'm hoping to do it before the end of the year. So it would be a good time to do it, but I think that it would be too much for me to try to fire that kiln and do it through social media. So we're going to take a smaller step and try to tell the story, fire the electric kiln, and share the process, and go from there. Let me grab another glaze. 1131. But how are you doing, gal? Do you have a good weekend? What kind of goals do you have, Raja? Do you have any personal goals? I feel like you're holding out. I think you know what. I think you know what you want. I mean, you got work goals, you got personal goals, health goals. I mean, people, like, sometimes there's continuous goals, right? Like, there's goals that never change. Like, for instance, health is one of those things where we all say, we might not say, well, I want to get healthier, but we do say, I don't want to get unhealthy, right? You don't want to get unhealthy. So every time you go to eat something, you may think to yourself, I don't need to eat as much, or maybe I don't need to eat that option over this option. So even that becomes a task in a kind of like a subconscious goal, or like, I guess it would be conscious, but that would be like a perpetual goal to say, well, I want to remain healthy, or, I want to, I don't want my health to decline. And so that goal right there would be a continuous goal that you always have. And then if you were to, let's say, be unhealthy, then you could take that goal in the background and move it to the foreground and say, I'm going to focus on this goal this year or for this amount of time, and I'm going to change what I'm doing and make a conscious effort to achieve something. So there's always goals. We're always trying for something. I feel like I could use a spray bottle. I can't find my spray bottle. Yeah, that's insightful. I'll let y'all know something about me. I'm a disagreeable person. To be disagreeable is not a bad thing. It just means that you think. There are thinkers and there's feelers, and the thinker will hear something or see something, and they'll analyze it. And what I do is I look at something and I go, yes, but, or yes, and so then you're always trying to think of another element to it. And so that's what makes me do what I do, right? Every time I do something or I see something or I make something, I'm constantly thinking, what could make this better? And so my whole life is built around that. So I think, and that makes me disagreeable, so that whenever I hear something, I'm constantly challenging myself or my ideas to think of a better idea. Maybe perfectionism also takes place into that. So you would say life without goals is like living without eyes. And I say, that's very insightful. And then I think about it and I go, life without goal is like living without eyes. But someone without eyes can live with goals. Some of the most phenomenal piano players and singers are blind. So just because you have a life without eyes doesn't necessarily mean you can live without a goal. But if you live without goals, then it does seem to be an aimless life, as if someone were trying to walk around without sight. Make sense? So I just want you to know that's how I am. I'm a thinker, and when you're a thinker, that means you tend to be disagreeable, but you don't want to be so disagreeable that you never accept the truth in front of you. So I do try to do my best to see something and to learn something, but then I'm constantly trying to think of another angle. All right, we have all of the glazes for the first batch. All of my secondary glazes are here. All of my colorant glazes are in these little smaller bins. These are all 250 grams each. There's 8 of them. Let me get 8 brushes. 1, 2. 3, 4. 6, 7, 8. Oh, and that's 7. 7, 8. These are the brushes that I use. I bought these. These are the those little bamboo brushes that you can buy. I think they're called like hack brushes or hake brushes. And then they stack them up like this, and they put bamboo through them to hold them together. And I found that I could deconstruct it, and then it comes with one bamboo shoot with one brushful of hair, and disassembled all of them. And then I got these dowel rods from the store, and then I just glued them to the dowel rods like that for my long brushes. And so this right here, I thought about these. I thought about brushes for the longest time, and it was one of the hardest things to find because the chemicals in some of these glazes are caustic, and any sort of metal would rust. So I have all of these brushes that I would pay a lot of money for, and then they would all rust. And so I needed a brush that didn't have any metal, and it needed to be inexpensive so that I could have a bunch of them. And you can buy a whole one of these panels for like $1 or $2, and one of these hack brushes, and then you just deconstruct it. And these dowel rods are like, maybe less than $1, and then I can cut them into 3, so I get 3 brushes. So these are the most inexpensive brushes that you can get for pottery, and they don't go bad at all. So this right here, I thought through this for so long, and then once I came to the conclusion, I'm pretty happy with them. I think these brushes are called Hack or Hake brushes. It's a Hake, but it's a I don't know where they originated, but you can look that up. All right, so these glazes I think are going to need more water.
You don't need to, but you need it.
I got some. Let's see if they stiffen up. Yeah, they were 250 grams, and we added 100 grams of water, which put them at 350. 350. They were 250 grams, and we added I'm not good at math. It takes me a long time to process numbers. So there's 250 grams of powder, and there's 100 grams of water. And if I need,
You want me to get a calculator for you?
and if I need 1,000, if I need 50% water to start with, that means I need another 150 grams of water. I think that's right.
Wait, what's your original number?
There's 250 grams of powder, and I've put 100 grams of water, which brings the total weight to 350. So I need
So you need
another.
25. So half of 250.
I need 100 and.
Originally, you started
50.
with 250, so 50% of that would be 125. You added 100 grams of water, so you need 25 more grams of water to bring it to 50%. That's how we originally hydrated them.
50% water.
Of 250,
Oh, that's right. 50. That's right. 50%.
so then it would just be 120. You just need 25 more
25 more
to
grams.
start with.
Girl, you saved my life again. Man, I was about to mess my glaze up. 25 grams of water.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try this. Yeah, that looks good.
All right, you still got that chat.
Yeah. So one thing that we've been thinking about is how to share while we go live, because we go live so that it's the easiest way to create content. This is way too much. It's the easiest way to create content. And so now we've got to figure out how to extrapolate the content from the live. Man, water gets there quickly. There we go. So my thoughts are, is we can try to think of something to talk about, or we can try to think through questions while we work. And we can record, or we can hit a timestamp marker for sharing. But the idea is to try to grab the content, to know when it starts or stops, to be able to clip that out. All right. So Raja asked a question. So it's 10:40, so we can timestamp that, and then I can answer it, and then I can clip that out. Is that what we're thinking? All right. What inspired me to make pottery? I would say that I was not inspired to start pottery. Maybe it was happen chance. In school, I didn't do so well. I was not very good at school. And so I struggled with I called them the brainier activities. And so I didn't like science, math, history, and so I enjoyed taking art classes. My art teacher, I did sit down and make my first 5 pieces, which I'll show y'all another time. I still own them. I still have them. But I made 5 pieces on the potter's wheel in my art class, and I just kind of did it myself to just try. And my art teacher saw the pieces, and she thought they were really good, and I think she saw in me that I had, the ability to create. And so she conspired with my mother. So she called my mom and said that I should try for an art degree. And so they put together a portfolio for me of my work and submitted it to the local college. And they accepted me and gave me a scholarship. So that is how I came to the arts in school. And this college was all about formalism. So the majority of their professors and the art department head, they really highlighted how you can express yourself with material, not express yourself, but what you can get a material to do. And so you could take any material, right? Like you could take this cloth here and you can stop looking at it like it's a cloth or like it's a hand towel. Like this has been made as a hand towel, but you can change your mindset and stop seeing this as a hand towel and start seeing it as a material. And you can learn how this material works. You can test that it has tension, it has strength, and yet it's weak, right? Like it just does nothing. But then it has strength when you pull, and so you can, see the texture of it. You can see that it unravels into these fibers all the way down to the smallest pieces. And so they taught us to use form and to use material and to see what you can make from material. And mostly it was the classics, all of the classics. So you had stone, stone carving. We had woodworking. We had bronze. We had ceramics and clay, painting and graphic design. So we had all these different materials, and we just got to play with them and try different things. Well, for me, clay was the one material that I kept finding intriguing. So I would continue to do all of them, but clay was the one thing where when I made something, I would have ideas to make something else. And I'd make that, and then I'd have ideas to make 2 or 3 more different types of things. And so every time I made something, it would multiply the ideas that I had to make something else. The others didn't do that, like bronze work, casting, doing the lost wax process, stone carving and painting. Like I could carve and I could chisel and I can create a form, but I wasn't having ideas like, oh, I want to make, this new form or try this new thing. But with clay, I just continued to have ideas. And so for me, I think the inspiration came just by using the material. Clay has such a tactile and responsive quality that isn't like any other material. You can dig it up out of the earth and mold it and squish it and form it. And when you fire it, it just stays. It just stays like that. And I think clay is an incredible material. So the inspiration is not really something that I look for. It's easy, or I'd say it's easy to come by. You just, I've got a million ideas. What's your doubt? Share your doubt. I was going to start a podcast and I was going to call it, what was it? The Opposable Podcast. I was going to call it the Opposable Podcast. It gets 2 thumbs down.
Still lands every time. Oh my gosh.
You like that one? Leela likes it.
It just cracks up every time. Every time.
All right. This is 61. 61. And the last one, let's get a different brush. Um, are you talking about this, the glaze? I'll assume that you're talking about the glaze. This is glaze. Now the thing about glaze is it has the same ingredients as clay. It's just different amounts, so that it has a very low melting point, where clay has high refractory material. It has a lot of clay in it, and so that holds up. So it has a higher firing temperature, so it'll actually hold a form. Where glaze has very little refractory, very little clay, and it has a lot more glass and fluxes to melt the glass. And so it becomes a glaze or a glass. And then you put the glaze on the surface of the clay and fire it. And what that does is it seals the surface. The reason the water content is important, it's not really the water content that I'm looking for, it's the viscosity. And so because I do brushwork, most potters don't do brushwork. They dip because it's easier and it's quicker, and you can make a big batch of glaze and you just put a glaze on it and you're done. But for me, I would say the glazing carries nearly half of the strength of my pieces. I think my forms are really good, but the glazes make them just, they just gives them that real unique quality. So what I'm looking for is not the water content. The water content is important because I need so much material to water, which is what gives you the specific gravity of the glaze. And so all of these have been measured out to be the same. Now materials are different, so the water will have a different effect. But you can see here how this one is dripping. So if I dip the brush in and pull it out, it runs off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Epsom salt. This is Epsom salt in water at its highest level. I forget what it's called. Saturated, the highest saturated level. And so this is just Epsom salt in water. And when you put Epsom salt into the glaze, it flocculates the glaze. And so what it does is I think it gives it like a charge, because Epsom salt does that, I think, in our body. I don't know the scientific terminology, but it charges the glaze to where all the little minerals within the glaze push away and repel from each other, and then they create a tension. And so I just put it a few drops, and then I mix it up, and now look at this. So now it's a gloop. Now, the cool thing is this is Darvan, and it is a deflocculant. So if I just put a few drops of Darvan into it and mix that up, Darvan will break those bonds. Might need a few more drops, but it is working. So Darvan will break those bonds, and then it turns back into a running slurry. Now, since I do brushwork, I need the glaze to hold to the brushes so that whenever I pick up a piece, it doesn't run everywhere. So what I'll do is I add Epsom salt to flocculate the glaze and to stiffen it up and get it to where I need it. Now this glaze is going to need some water, so we're going to do I'm going to just add a few drops into here. If you tried to make this a science experiment to get everything absolutely perfect, as we were talking about perfection, we would be here forever mixing glazes. And that's why they call it an art. So you got to you have to know the feel. You have to do it enough to where you learn the materials, you learn the feel, to be able to get exactly what you want, and then to know that it'll work for you. So what do you do for fun, Raja, when you're not working? Gal said he goes to the temple on the weekends. Are you religious? Precision mannered. All right, I think those are done. I think I'm going to leave them as they are, and we'll doctor them up whenever we get to them. That way they don't dry out. What else do? You play video games? Seven. 17.7, 27, mixed up, 27, 17, 31. Did I mix this one up? Okay. 31 is mixed. 10,000 steps a day. How many is 10,000 steps? Do you know that? 91, 77. Thought I had a. What lake do you walk around? You want to share that, and I'll look it up online and take a picture. Take a look at it. Is it a like a public park lake, or is this like a personal home lake?
Is he also in Hyderabad? Are they in the same thing?
Yeah. What city are you in? Give us your personal information. We'll take a look at it. If you care to share. A lake with a public park. Does it have a name that can be looked up? All right, that was a quick glaze. 43 is done. 91. All right, you can pull it up, Leela.
Okay. Tell me.
You can see it. Oh, you can't see it.
No, I can see it.
Oh, yeah, you
If
can
I
see it.
go over here. Yeah. Oh. Oh, wow. Maybe I'm gonna do. Oh.
Hmm.
Cool. Wow. It is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, with a history spanning more than 2,500 years.
Wow.
Dang. Wow. Wow.
See if there's a lake there. It's a city park. Well, there's probably many lakes and many parks. Heritage City.
Heritage City? All right, let's see. Okay. Wow. So he's very south up. Yeah, so Gotham lives up here
Mm-hmm.
in this state, and
Mm-hmm.
he lives down where he's with me.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, how long does it take you to get to the coast if you want to see the ocean?
Yeah, if you wanted to see the ocean, how long does it take you to get there? Come and explore it. I would love to. You know, I've never been outside of the States, except for a few small coastal places in South America, little tourist places, and I would love to travel. I'd love to travel all over, but unfortunately, I am too poor.
For now.
Well, we can't tell the future.
True.
If I can get a steady number of people buying my pottery, then we could sell pottery and travel, and then we can make pottery wherever we go. Like we can come and visit you and then make a batch of pottery and we can sell it there, and that will fund our next journey. So we will come and make pottery with your place. I got to get that out. Do we have more Epsom salts, Leland?
You want me to just go get them shed, like straight up?
Is that where it's at? I don't think we have any here, right? Yeah, I'm gonna need some. We could get it for lunch. We could get it during lunch. So what time is it?
I don't know, 5,
What time?
11.
Okay, that's good because I think I should be able to finish mixing these glazes up, and then we can have lunch and then come back and glaze. I will make it a business trip, but again, my business doesn't make enough money. If we make it a business trip, I think we can make some write-offs, but we would still, I think you can like write off a percentage. Remember, I'm not very smart at these things. Have you traveled much, Raja? Mhm. Yeah, is that really big? TED Talks. What would I give a TED Talk on, gal? What's my topic? I hope this bag is not leaking. I'll get y'all one as soon as I learn how. I mean, I think that everyone just needs one cup. You just got to find the one. You take your time and then you find the one that speaks to you. And then I'll give a TED Talk on what art is today. The TED Talk will be on how the introvert became an extrovert by facing fears, by doing the thing that he was afraid of. See, I've been thinking about that a lot because, yes, I would say that the majority of my life I felt like an introvert of the introvert extrovert. So the introvert loses energy during social encounters. They lose it. It costs them energy. And so I started thinking, can it be reversed? Can I become an extrovert and gain energy? And I started facing my fears, doing the social media and showing up. And it was really difficult. Those first few years were really hard. And the first time I went live here in the studio, I paced around for probably 3 hours outside in the yard. And it felt like such a burden, like it was so difficult. And after I got done, I felt so alive. Like I felt like I'd never been skydiving, but I just felt like I had landed my first skydive, right? And I was like, I'm gonna do it again. And the next day was 100 times better, 100 times easier. It wasn't better, it was easier. And it just got easier and easier and easier. But I sat out in the yard and I paced around, and my mind was like this. If introversion and extroversion are on a scale, then there is a point where there's a line, right? And as an introvert, I was standing at the line, and in my mind, I'm in the yard, and in my mind, I'm sitting here looking at this line, thinking to myself, if I cross over and I exert myself doing this thing, if it costs me energy, I cannot do it. I can't be a public figure. I can't do this as a living. I can't show up and do social media every day. I couldn't do it, right? Because I didn't have that kind of energy. Every day I would have to step across, exert myself, and then come back. But if I could come across that line and gain energy and be excited and gain energy, then I wouldn't have to come back. Maybe what it is like maybe the line can move. Maybe that's a way to process that, is that maybe I'm moving the line between introvert and extrovert. Anyways, I've been doing this now for maybe 6 months, going live as often as we can. And I think that what I've realized is that the fear is what's costing you energy. If you can get over your fears, then you can apply your energy to something else. And so that was kind of what I came up with is that for introverts and extroverts, the fear has a lot to do with that energy level. And when introverts go into an extroverted situation, they're worrying about what people think, or I want to talk to someone, but I don't know what to say, or I can't, or I'm going to mess up, or they're going to uncover something or know something, the fear of being found out, the fear of being known. And that was what Leela told me. She was like, "Are you afraid of being known?" And I go, "Yeah, I guess that's it. Like, that nailed it." People are afraid to be known. But if you want to be successful at social media, you have to get over your fear of being known. And you have to be able to throw your cards on the table, because if you try to hold a card and hide it, that's fear. And maybe there are things that you need to hold, but you want to really know what those are, because the internet will tear you apart looking for the truth. And I know my day hasn't come yet. I know that the day will come where people will pick my life apart. If I become too popular, they'll pick my life apart looking for the cracks, because it's what the world does. And so, that day will come. But for now, I'm just trying to figure out how to throw all my cards on the table and be open and honest. And in doing that, I stand here right now with no fear. I have near total peace, and it's not costing me energy. Now, it takes time, and maybe it would be easier to put on my music and just work and not have to think about carrying a conversation. But it's a different world, and it's a different life with social media and art. The world requires it for artists to be present now in some capacity. And so here I am going, I may still be an extrovert, but I have definitely moved the line to being comfortable here. And that'll be a continual journey. So that's where I tell people, and maybe that would be my TED Talk, is we all have fears. Try to find out what they are. What are you afraid of doing? What are you afraid of? And I tell people all the time, if you have the personality, if you have it in you to go after your fears, if you don't know what to do with your life, go after your fears. Because I believe that your fear is usually directly in between your best life. And maybe there's a spirit, I think there's a spiritual thing there, but the enemy, be it our mind or demons or whatever, spirits, the enemy is trying to keep you from living your best life. And if you have fear, I believe that it is in between you and your best life. And so think of what you want, and then start making steps toward what you want to be and what you want to obtain. And fear, if it rises, will arise within that journey. And then you'll be faced with facing it. And then from there, you have no idea how long it'll take to overcome, but that's life. And then you just take it one day at a time. one step at a time. I love it when glazes are nearly perfect. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I know y'all may have sleep to get to soon. Feel no need to entertain me. I think that this is how I'm going to have to proceed through this process. Maybe we'll find ways to make little social media remarks and have like smaller shorts to keep, the popular method going. But I want to share this process live, and I don't know how yet to work through this while, trying to have conversations. And so we're just going to keep going, and maybe we'll find a balance of slowing work down and sharing. But if you've got to go, if you got to come in, go, say hi, whatever. I want you to be sure that you are live your life. If you come and hang out with me, every bit of it is appreciated. And if I can help you live your best life, that would be great too. But anyways, maybe it felt like First Man on Mars, journey to being an extrovert. Yeah, First Man on Mars. I don't know if I was the first person. I'm sure there's many people that have made that path from introvert to extrovert out of necessity. And I know that there's a lot of extroverts, there's a lot of introverts out there that do highly extroverted jobs. They talk about that. There's some great CEOs out there that are introverts, and they have to get up in front of the company. They have to give speeches. They have to, put themselves out there. And then they go fishing in Alaska. All right, I feel like we've got just one more row of glazes and we'll be done. These are all of our new glazes. TED Talk. All right. Looks good. Yeah, this is all new. Having to set up glazes for a live stream. So, so anyway, Leela, I was thinking, could I, is there anything that we can make like an announcement for? Because that's the idea is that if we're working through this live, then that means any of we have to multiply our efforts. So we have process and then we have the live, but if we also need short content, that means it has to be done in the live. And it could be anything. So it could be, talking about something of the process. It could be talking about, where we're at with an update, like do an update, anything, but it would have to be it's almost like doing something intentionally working, unintentionally being live, and then intentionally making some sort of content. Like it'd be like an intentional piece of content. Or you could hit the record button.
Yeah.
While we're live, and then we share, and then we would have the. I wonder if the set recording button could be higher quality, like 4K, where we don't have to clip it. We don't have to clip it from download it from YouTube in the 1080p that we have to stream at, but we could hit record and then it records a higher quality to the computer, turn around, upload it as a short, and then erase it.
So if we did the 4K, would we need to stop the live stream first?
Mm-mm. No, you can hit record and it records. It doesn't matter if it's 4K. I was just saying maybe it could, since it goes directly to the computer as a copy.
How would I do that? Would I go to the camera settings?
But the camera is set at 1080p. So we would probably have to change the camera to 4K and then do an output resolution to the stream at 1080p. So that would probably have to be something we set up later. So we won't worry about that now, but we can be thinking if we need, like everybody can't stop by the live stream and hang out.
But maybe you could do a live stream recap where it's like we press record and you're like,
we're in the middle of
in this you could say, I'm not that you need to say this, but just to give an example, like in this live stream,
like I'm not ready to call people in.
I did this and that and the other, like give a recap of what you did during the live stream.
Like I was saying, like I'm not ready to call people in, but that.
What does that mean, call people in?
Like we could right now say, hey everybody, we're going to be glazing for the next hour. If you want to come check out the process and ask questions, feel free to do so.
So you want to do like a little like, hey, we're gonna be glazing at 1 p.m. Central Time.
No,
Come
like, we're
join us and
glazing
make
now.
that post.
Like, hey, we're glazing right now. If
Oh.
you want to stop in and say hi, ask questions, check out the process.
So like
We'll also
start the
do-
live stream with that.
No, like we
I mean,
could
like,
do at
post
any
it.
point. Yeah, you could post it right now.
At any point.
Yeah, like I could make that call right now. Like you could hit record and I could say, invite people in.
Yeah.
On the spot, and then stop recording, take that video, upload it to any platform with the link. Well, you
Yeah.
can't have a link to a
You
live.
can.
Oh, you can have
Yeah,
a link
you
to a
can.
live.
And actually I could like put it in when I post it.
Yeah.
So, but we just would have already needed to schedule the live stream. Can I get a link?
Well, no, like what I'm
schedule
saying
first?
is we are live streaming right now.
Yeah.
We don't need to schedule.
So basically what you're saying is you don't want lunch right now.
No, we're not going to do it right now. I just said I'm not ready to call people in to make an announcement. I'm just saying that
We could do it.
we could do it.
Okay, yeah, I'm down. That sounds
But
good.
we could, for now, just let it be more organic, and we'll just make a short. We'll do like some short.
Okay.
All right, I got 2 more glazes.
Did you find number 9?
It is not on our mixing.
List.
It was not on our mixing list,
Oh, okay.
which is really
But you
weird.
wanted to make number 9.
I really thought we were making number 9.
What's number 9 called?
It's a white glaze.
How many white glazes you got going on?
I have a lot of white glazes.
I was just gonna say. But you want to try this one because
It's one of my staples.
oh,
But there is probably enough to make it through
that's number 9.
that one.
One.
I think I got enough to make it through.
Are you planning on using it as the base glaze or the accent?
It's a base.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, so I've got just a few left and then we'll break for lunch.
Did you you got 24 squares on that sheet?
Yes.
Cool.
He's 95.
You actually have 25, but that's fine.
I don't have a 95 on here.
Maybe you can change your 9 to 95.
I need a 95.
What's 95? Is it a base glaze?
It's a test glaze, so it's going to be an accent until we see what it does. Well, we know what 90, but we know what 107 will do, so let's make 107. 95.
Good job catching these things.
Complicated. So
Do you want me to read you the list of the glazes we mixed and you can check that you got them on there?
No, I know this.
You know they're all taken care of. Do you want to stop the live stream and then start again to glaze, or just keep going?
We're gonna stop it and go have lunch, and then we'll start a new one when we come
Oh,
back.
okay. Nurse. Okay. Oh, where's my little dog gone? Oh, where can you be? I'm totally old. All right. All right. All right. All right. I gotta wrap my head around this. It's on the computer. Wrap your head around this thing. All right. Here are the little photos. Oh. So the so Gal speaks Telugu and Raja speaks Tamil, probably, because
Natively.
89% of her city has Tamil as their main language. Then obviously they both speak Hindi and English, probably.
Yeah, it's a lot of culture to have behind you.
Yeah, his city is so old. I mean, New York City is just a little over 250 years old.
Yeah.
250. There is, how many times more is that?
10?
4,
What'd you say it was?
8. Their city is 10 times older than New York City.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling. That's before Christ. Their city existed.
Yeah.
100 years before the Book of Malachi was recorded. Their city is recorded as existing.
Okay. That's all of them. We've got one, 7, 10, 43, 43, 17. 17 was also low. And may need to be swapped for 30.
Pictures. All right, I gotta find these pictures I was looking at yesterday. I did not write down where I found them. Right. Maybe I'll find these pictures. Found them. right, Lily, you know they're not here, so look somewhere else. Come on. You got this. You got this.
What you struggling with?
Files and where to find them. It's like, you know, when you do work and you're like, oh, yeah, and then you're like, man, I've got to do that work all over again. Okay, so think.
Okay, we're done. I'm gonna wash my hands. Let's go get some lunch. And then we'll come back and I think what we're gonna do is glaze this pan. Let's see if I'll try to make.
I just realized these are video. I'm a little slow sometimes.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is we've just finished mixing up all of our glazes. We've got them mapped out for these two shelves or these two plates of sipper cups. And the reason I'm going to do that, I haven't decided on any of the mugs or the flower bowls, but I was feeling really kind of fearful of putting glaze on those. Being that we have so many new glazes. So I thought to go ahead and just glaze up some of these cups, and I can test the glazes on the cups and see what they're going to do and how they're going to react together to a pretty good extent. And so that's our goal right now moving forward, is to just try these glazes out on these two cups. We'll fire them alone. Maybe I'll choose to get a little risky and put in some flower bowls or mugs, but I really want to know what these glazes do before we put them on everything. And so we just finished mixing up all the glazes that are going to go on these cups. So we're going to take a break, go have some lunch, and then we're going to come back after lunch and glaze them. So we'll be back. We'll see y'all soon. Take care.